Check, check, check. Test, test, test. Test, test. Can anybody hear me? Probably not. We're just hanging out. My son is napping. Maybe he'll nap for a little bit longer. One thing I realized is I have all this desire and like motivation to do live streams or podcasts or some sort of like creative outlet more often at like midnight or like whatever, between like 10 and 2 a.m. And I was trying to figure out why that was. I think a lot of it is that's a lot of like when I just kind of feel the most free. It's when I don't feel kind of the pressure of the outside world. I think introverts tend to feel that freedom at night, not only because it's kind of the end of the day and you're able to kind of wind down, but I think after 8 or 9 o'clock at night, societally, nothing's really expected of people. You don't expect to get a call at 10 o'clock at night saying, hey, I need you to come do this work that is not an extraordinary circumstance or anything like that. And so I've always felt late at night like, okay, I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not, unless it's just like a buddy with a casual conversation or something. I'm just not going to be bothered and all that. So late at night is when I tend to, look, just kind of be on my phone, looking at videos, looking on Instagram, finding different things. But I found more and more that the videos that I see, the videos that are kind of pushed to me are more inspirational fatherhood, parenting advice these days, especially. But the amount of just like quotes and little clips from TV shows I haven't seen or interviews I haven't seen from people I didn't even really know about that really just kind of hit home. Has really just kind of gone up a lot. And one is, I saw this video. I don't know who the account is, JD Bird. I don't know who that is, but it's a clip of Rick Rubin, legendary music producer, done all sorts of stuff. It's on an episode of Dave, which returns to FXX tonight. But it's just a really good quote and kind of leads into why I'm doing why I'm even on a live stream of any kind. And I think a lot of that is rooted in my own fear of my own insecurities around speaking, my own insecurities around putting myself out there and being vulnerable of any kind. I'm trying to get a lot better at that. I think more and more as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at that in person conversations and situations like that. But I think what I really want to do is to put myself out there online in a creative way, in a creative outlet that is more than just aspirations for down the road. I think a lot of times I get caught up with things that I want to do, and then it's so easy to overwhelm myself with, well, I can't do that. I'm not going to be good enough at doing that, or whatever the case may be. But this is a really cool clip, I think, from Rick Rubin that just kind of hit home with, in terms of like the motivation to why we're doing different things, and it shouldn't be for other people. So I hope this should play.
The advice I would have would be to not listen to anyone and to do what you love and to make things that you love, whatever it is. Make your favorite things. Be the you be the audience. Make the thing for you the audience. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. And if you have to get a job to support yourself so that you can make your art, that's fine. You can't make art for someone else. You can't make art with someone else in mind. I don't believe. I don't believe it can be good.
So
The only advice I would have would be to not listen to anyone and to do what you love and to make things that you love, whatever it is. Make your favorite things. Be the audience. You be.
So I just started replaying, but that's really it. I think for a long time I've worried just who the audience is, who am I making things for, um, and I think I've gotten to the point where it's just like I'm just gonna make stuff for me, and if other people want to watch, cool. If not, that sucks, but that's fine. Um, so I think I'm gonna start taking a bit of an approach of almost like I don't know if anybody has ever watched Your Mom's House, but they kind of go through clips because I think it just kind of gets the conversation going. I think part of my problem is I don't I don't plan a lot kind of on the front end. And so getting into that conversation and getting into um what I want to talk because this this whole desire to talk about things or to do any sort of live streaming and create more things like this has derived from the feeling of when I am watching these things at night, the visceral emotional reaction that I get from being moved by these different things. I think I've seen a lot of these Jim Carrey clips, and this is a
the
great
difference
one.
between depression and sadness is sadness is just, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created. The difference between
There's a lot of there are more videos and more people talking about mental health and depression and all of these states of well-being that have made me so much better understand myself, have made me so much better understand my friends and different relationships and how I interact with them and how they interact with me. And it's really fun to see like some of the like this. I got to start saving more videos kind of in this way. On Instagram's got to figure out kind of their reels and saving and stuff. But I'm trying to make just kind of a running list of different things. But uh, this one, this one was really good.
I'm a psychologist, and here's the top 5 things that someone with depression wants you to know. Number 5, depression is not a choice, and they can't just snap out of it. Number 4, when they take days to answer a text or keep cancelling plans at the last minute, it's nothing you did wrong. Their conflict is not with you, it's with themselves. And number 3, the reasons for depression can't always be seen, but not knowing the reason does not make that depression any less valid. Number 2, you might think that person is not trying hard enough, but that's because when you're depressed, even the simplest of tasks can feel like a mountain to climb. And number 1, they're still the same person, but they're going through hell right now, and they may need you more than ever. I'm a
Like I think that's just one of the simplest kind of quick bullet points of how somebody does feel when they're depressed and some of that overwhelmingness of that almost gets kind of added on of you're feeling this way, and then that fear of hurting or making the other people that are involved in your life think that they are the cause of it, or think that they have done something that made you feel that way, or whatever it is. And so often, I think more often than not, that's not the case. I think there are so many times, and I think my wife and I've had to have a lot of discussions about this in our relationship, is so many times I get into these depressive states, and it happens the moment I wake up, like the moment my foot hits the floor, and I just kind of know, today's gonna be one of those days. And okay, let's plan accordingly. And it had nothing to do with, I hadn't even spoken to my wife at that point. It had nothing to do with her. Had nothing to do with anybody. I haven't spoken to anybody yet. I barely even woken up. It's all me. It's all internal. It's all, something within myself. And I think that's been a bit of a battle, but um, more so just learning, kind of um, what to do on those days where I'm not feeling kind of quite up to it, or just putting that foot on the floor and getting out of bed it seems like a monumental task. And so I don't know. I think it's a constantly learning, a constantly changing type of emotional state that so many people deal with on such a regular basis. And uh, I've started to find a lot of joy in talking about it, especially with people who also feel that, and who go through worse things. Like, I mean, obviously, there is a spectrum for a reason. There's so many people who have it, or deal with it to a greater degree than I do, and I think it's important to keep that in mind. I think perspective is something that I think I've been decent at kind of managing perspective for most of my life, and I think it's even more important the older I get, and as I start to deal with kind of internal struggles that don't necessarily have kind of a root cause that is easily identifiable. Maybe it's things I didn't properly deal with as a child or a teenager or whatever that show up later in life, but it seems like the awareness and understanding of how to deal with it on a regular basis has been really beneficial. And obviously that didn't just kind of happen overnight. It was a lot of therapy and a lot of just a lot of self-reflection, a lot of trying to figure things out. Sorry if I keep looking off to the side. I've got iPad over here. I was trying to see if I could see like analytics or anything of the current stream, but I don't think so. I thought it would just take a minute to kind of catch up, but okay, well, that's unfortunate. Anyways, but I don't know. I like talking about mental health, and I think depression is an incredibly common thing to do. Why is my CPU just getting completely sucked up? Like, I've got an external GPU on here and it's just doing nothing. Lighten the mood a little bit. A little Mac Miller that made me happy. I like this video. A little best day ever.
Best day ever. If it ain't about a dream, then it ain't about me. Go a couple full weeks without a good night's sleep. Imagination, making musical creation. The journey that I'm facing, plus the paper that I'm chasing, got me crazy after saying. With the lames I see you hating, but there's nothing that you changing. Thumbs up, I'm maintaining. No complaining when it's raining. I'll be in another zone. Move out my mother's home to a world to call my own. I ain't gonna play around no more. Find the difference from the ground and the floor. If we gotta fight, I'll be down for the war. Thumbs up, homie, I'll be sure. No matter where life takes me, find me with a smile. Be soon to be happy, don't be laughing like a child. I never thought life would be this sweet. It got me cheesing from cheek to cheek, ay, ay. And I ain't gonna wait for nothing, cause that just ain't my style. Life couldn't get better.
There are a lot of these like younger videos of Mac that have surfaced, and it sucks, man. I get a little emotional just kind of thinking about it. I don't know. Maybe it's dumb, but there's there hadn't been a public figure that has impacted me, a public figure's death who has impacted me as much as Mac Miller. So that's that one. I don't know. I think about him every day, and it just sucks. I hate that he's gone. Man, for a long time I was saving so many just like cool photography tips during COVID, and never did any of them, unfortunately. Probably should have.
You know, it's illegal for a gynecologist to say the word pussy.
I was watching this video right before I started streaming.
When we were little, my mom would walk us to the store, me and my sister, and we would hold hands, you know, and she would squeeze my hand 3 times and say, "I love you," and I would squeeze back, "I love you too." And last week I was in the hospital at her side, and I grabbed her hand, and I squeezed, "I love you." And I just knew we were in trouble.
Squeeze my hand 3 times in the back of the taxi.
I know that I cry really easily. I cry easier now than I did, 5 years ago, and even 10 years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. I always hear Jimmy Fallon kind of get like weird, in my opinion, unwarranted criticism. I think people, joke about he laughs. I think they think it's maybe too much for when he's doing interviews, or he overdoes it for these interviews and things. But I've always seen Jimmy Fallon as he's obviously a very charismatic guy, but I've always seen him as a guy that genuinely cares about the people he's talking to, the people he's interviewing. Maybe he doesn't, but I've always felt that that's how he comes off, and what his intentions are. I think that the criticism that he gets a lot of the times of being overreacting to jokes or to guests or whatever. Again, maybe he does. Maybe that's an overreaction. I don't know, but I bet it makes those people feel good, and I bet that they enjoy a guy of his caliber. So, whatever. I don't care what you say. He's one of the greatest SNL cast members ever. I mean, I've been kind of going back and watching a lot of old SNL stuff the last year or so, and he is amazing. He's hilarious. He's incredible. And I think you see moments like this, and it's really easy to see Jimmy Fallon as TV guy, comedy guy, jokester, always, God's on TV every day, ton of money, kind of do what he wants, all that. But what these moments show, obviously, when you show these kind of human moments, we're all human. You show these moments of humility and humanity from these celebrities that we perceive, or that a lot of people perceive to be kind of larger than life. And what you see is that they go through loss too. And what you see is that they have a lot of struggles too. And obviously, anytime you see other people like that, you relate to it, and it makes you feel somewhat connected. But I personally think that it takes a pretty special level of vulnerability and comfort within your own skin to talk like this on live TV. This guy's on live, and okay, I shouldn't say that, not to talk like this, but to show this side of you. Um, I think it's incredibly hard to do, especially when your kind of whole persona is I'm the jokester, I'm the funny guy, I'm the happy guy, all that kind of stuff. Um, so I always love seeing these kind of moments with Jimmy Fallon. I think he does an incredible job with it. I think Jimmy Kimmel does too. Jimmy Kimmel does a lot of really, really cool stuff. All these late night guys. I don't, I'm particularly I'm a big Jimmy Fallon. Specifically for me, I'm a big Jimmy Fallon fan. But this is a good one, I think. But I say that to say, I think that being a comedian or doing stand-up comedy, getting up on a stage and telling jokes or whatever, I personally think it's the most raw and vulnerable form of entertainment on the planet. Um, I think what you see on Netflix specials and whatever, all these different specials where people are, selling out arenas and all this kind of stuff. All that is obviously incredible, but what you're not seeing is the thousands of small bars that they performed in front of 8 people that didn't know who they were, or the thousands of 5-minute sets that they did, check spots while people were paying their bills and didn't even know somebody was on stage doing comedy, or the tons of waitressing jobs that they did just to try to get an extra spot, for 2 minutes unpaid at a bar or something. So I think more than most, I think even more than sports and all this kind of stuff, the unseen hours and work that goes into stand-up comedy specifically is the most for the people that do make it, it is the most impressive hill to climb and the most vulnerable hill to climb. And I think the people that get up on stage and have all the jokey jokes and all that kind of stuff, they're fine. But I think the ones that get up and are vulnerable and tell their stories and even make fun of themselves in order to get the crowd to laugh and all those kind of things. I just think it's the most true form of entertainment and the truest form of kind of being yourself. I admire there's so many comedians and people that I have grown to admire more than a lot of other professions. And not to say it's because I know how it is. No, but I know that I struggle to like get up and, I struggled a ton in college, just like get in front of a class of 12 people and, present a project or something like that. So, from a public speaking aspect, I'm just like, how do you get up there and talk in front of all these people? And they're sitting in a position where it's like, make me laugh. Like they're not, it's not like they're sitting there and, they have to laugh. Like if at a sports game or something, they're all just kind of there. If their team wins or loses, they're going to be mad or whatever, or happy. But at a comedy show, it's like, no, if you don't make me laugh, I'm going to be pissed. And so I think that's a very unique aspect to, to comedy as a whole. But I think that's what makes it so special, is because, not that I have any experience with this. I'm not a comedian, unfortunately, but I would imagine that a lot of these, especially early on, the high that you feel when you're in a new venue with a crowd that doesn't necessarily know who you are, or maybe you're opening for a bigger name guy that they definitely came for that guy, but they don't know who you are. And then you start and you're 2 minutes in, and all of a sudden the crowd's popping, they're howling, and it's like, oh, I did that. I made them laugh. I think, I don't know. It just seems like one of the most unique forms of self-expression, the truest, and again, the truest and most raw form of self-expression that is left. So many times there's editing in the sense that like these people, they're working on it over and over and over again, either in clubs or in writing and doing spots or whatever. But these jokes go through rounds and rounds and rounds of sets, and people either laughing or not laughing, and they kind of know where they stand from there. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's very interesting. I've really fallen in love with the art of stand-up comedy. Oh, is my son waking up? Maybe. Crap. I think he is. It's not bad. Okay, 27-minute stream. Yeah, whatever. I got one more video. This is I got two more. This one's Shia LaBeouf. One of his interviews kind of went semi-viral. That was really good. I love Shia LaBeouf. I know he's had a lot of controversy and he's had his fair share of issues, but ever since Even Stevens, man, I have loved Shia LaBeouf. Transform. I'm a big Shia LaBeouf fan, regardless of his antics. Let's see if I can move this guy down. Whatever.
It's the first time I really understood love because I didn't have nothing to give. She's a real one. Sometimes that's all you need to offer a person who's in a situation like that, just to be present. And she was present for me at a time when I didn't deserve to have nobody in my life. It's not sexy to be with me. And you're showing up for me like you're gonna be tied to this shit? And love is irrational that way. You can't rationalize real love. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's the first time I really understood love.
That interview that he did on, I don't know what the podcast, I forgot that guy's name, but yeah, you see a comment there, stop abusing women, Shaw. Yeah, he's had issues. I don't forgive him for that. I don't know all the details. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. But it seems like he has learned. It seems like he's evolved a little bit. It doesn't forgive anything that he may have done. Again, I don't know all the specifics. I'm just talking in a vacuum here. But what he said is sometimes that's all you need is for a person to show you that they're there and that they're gonna be there for you. And I think that's so true in so many different instances in life. There's so many times where I have just felt that sense of loneliness, just felt like, even though I have an incredible group of very close friends, multiple small groups of really close friends that I've learned through when I was in college and seeing other, guys and kind of the high school friends that they grew up with. And just as I've grown up, you see different relationships and it made it very clear that the relationship I had with my buddies in high school that maintained through college and even now, not as much. We don't talk now as much as we did 5 years ago, but everybody's got kids, whatever, life. But it's whenever it's just one of those things. Whenever we see each other, it's like we saw each other yesterday, and we just kind of keep it trucking. But I realized how unique kind of our friendship group was. We had just like me, kind of 4 other guys, incredibly tight, and then I've got a couple other buddies, incredibly tight. But there have been so many times in life where I've been struggling, or they've been struggling, or whatever, and I'll get a text from one of my buddies, and they're just like, "Hey man, you all right? How you doing?" And just like those little check-ins. I don't know. I think it's easy for me to get into my head and just feel like literally the whole world is just kind of stopped. and or my whole world has just kind of stopped. Everything else is still happening around me, but right here, it stopped. And I feel that a lot, and I feel that there have been a lot of times where I'm feeling that, and I I get a phone call, I get a text, they'll like a picture or something, and it's just like, oh yeah, that dude's there. They're there. I'm not alone. They're there. It happens. Obviously, it happens a ton with my wife. I'll see. Especially at this point, and it's almost like she knows before I do. She come and be like, "Hey, what's good? You all right today? What's going on? You need a minute?" And that helps a lot. My wife just texted me now. She's watching her son nap. Apparently, good napper today. Yes, he is. Good napper, but he's probably gonna wake up soon. All right. 32 minutes. All right, 33 minutes. I'm gonna end it on this one. I don't know who this guy is. Mark Manson. I don't know. A lot of these, like with Shia, controversial dude. I don't know. These are just little bits that I found. Some of these people could be total pieces of crap, but if they have a little quote, sometimes bad people can say good things every once in a while. So this was a good quote about worrying about what other people think or not doing that.
What is your favorite quote? My favorite quote is from David Foster Wallace. He said, "You'll stop worrying so much what other people think of you when you realize how seldom they do." What is your...
Yeah. That was one that I heard and I had to go write down. I was like, oh, yeah, that's true. Because I think we all, but not all of us, but I think a lot of people love the idea of, oh, I don't care what people think of me. I don't care what people think of me. I've said that 1,000 times. Truth of the matter is, I do care. I'm like, let's not pretend. I care. So, I think there are those moments. What did I change? Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh. Oh, golly jeepers. It's very easy to get caught up in that. And, truth of the matter is, to a degree, you should care what people think. Because unless you're like a billionaire that just can truly do everything on their own, at a certain point, you need other people. Relationships are part of business. They're part of everything. So you may not value what other people think, but you care a little bit. But then, like he said, I think that's our natural instinct, is to care what other people think, until we kind of realize, oh, I haven't crossed that dude's mind at all. Which is wild. It's not, I don't just, I think there are even times where I get caught up in photography or something, almost thinking it's competitive. And I'm like, oh, they're successful because they haven't thought of me once. And they're just out there doing it. They're out there flying. They're out there taking pictures. They're out there getting clients, whatever. And so I think a lot of times I tell myself I don't care what they say or what they do, but that's a lie to myself. And I lie to myself a lot. I think it's easy to rationalize within yourself because only you're holding yourself accountable for that. And if you don't hold yourself accountable, then it doesn't really matter. So I don't know, that quote was always very fascinating to me, because I think there are so many times where I do think about something and then I'm like, oh yeah, they they haven't thought about me, and they shouldn't think about. Why would they think about me? Yeah, it's just easy to realize how little you think about other people, and then realize, well, that's how little they think about you. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think it's easy to believe that you don't care what somebody thinks, but when you really sit there and think about it, you probably care a lot more than you think. I know I do, and I find myself pretending I don't, telling myself I don't, but I do. My son's gonna wake up soon, but I don't know. I'm looking through other little videos on here. I don't know. There's so many. I just feel like I see so many videos that kind of hit home. Like, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. So I just gotta start saving stuff. But this UConn won the University of UConn. I don't know if it's I guess University of Connecticut, University of UConn. What am I talking about? Bobby Hurley, Dan Hurley, Bobby Hurley's brother, said, but in 2020 they lost to Villanova, heartbreaking loss, and I think that was early in his tenure at UConn.
People better get us now. That's all. You better get us now, because it's coming. People better get us now. That's all. You better get us now, because it's coming.
What a warning shot. And then to come to fruition just 3 seasons later. Look, UConn's one of the best programs in all college basketball. I was in a group I'm in a group chat with a bunch of guys, and this guy keeps like arguing if is UConn a blue blood, blah, blah, blah. Of course they are. What are you talking about? They won 5 championships in 24 years. 3 different head coaches they've won titles with. And it's a dumb argument to like, it's objective in my mind that they are. I've grown up in, when I was early 2000s, 2004, 2005, 2006, that era, UConn was dominating women's and men's basketball. I mean, obviously women's with Gino Ariana, or I can't remember his last name. They won, 7, 8 titles over like a 10-year span. I mean, they were just crushing people. Which was wild. I mean, there was a time. I mean, I feel like I would see highlights because I was just watching ESPN all the time, and it'd be like, UConn women's won 85-36. You're just like, what the heck? So that's always interesting when people make that argument, because again, in my mind, it's just like, yeah, duh. Like, of course they are. I don't understand how they could not be. They're clearly one of the best programs in the country. Oh yeah, he's awake. Crap. That sucks. Good nap though. All right, well, at least I think I've kind of got an idea how I'm going to do this moving forward, and just kind of talk about stuff and save things that way. Not that it matters. Again, nobody is here, but that doesn't matter, because who's the audience? Me, apparently. But my son's gonna wake up soon, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that going, or get ready to wake him up. But I'll probably do some more live streaming. I don't know. Should I do podcast form? That just seems too organized for what I'm trying to do. I don't know. Just got to organize my thoughts a little bit better, I think. But I don't mind just kind of riffing, just kind of going. I think I'm not terrible at it. I know I keep looking to the right. Maybe I should adjust my setup. The way I have it configured, my camera is here, but all of my My OBS stuff is here. Maybe I could plug. I have a TV up there. Maybe if I put my browser up there, do Discord, or not Discord, do OBS here, so that when I'm checking it, it looks like I'm actually looking towards the camera, like here. I don't know. We'll see. Still playing around with it. That'll do it. I will catch you guys, all 0 listeners, on the flippity flip. Peace. Not peace. That sounds so dumb. I'm mad at myself for just saying that. But hope everybody has a good rest of their Wednesday. If you're in Northwest Alabama, Mississippi, or Northern Louisiana or Eastern Arkansas, be aware for severe weather. Central Tennessee as well. Nashville's probably going to get some of that. I hate the month of April. I hate tornado season. It is part of being in the South and one of my least favorite parts, other than the racism and backwards government policies. Anyway, nearly 43 minutes of blissful chat with me. And we're going to try this outro one more time. I'll talk to you guys later. Be good to yourself and others. Isn't that? I took that from something. Crap. Dumb. I hope you have a great day. I hope that you enjoyed me talking just a little bit, and take care of yourselves. Thumbs up, everybody.